Hey, and welcome to the Baseline Facetime podcast. We've got a lot of good content for you today, so stay tuned and go ahead and hit on that subscribe button for me. So without further ado, let's hear the boys do what they do.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Baseline FaceTime podcast, episode 23. It has been a minute since we've been on. Our last episode was actually crowning the Los Angeles Lakers as world champions, winning the NBA Finals. And we had an actually really cool episode 22. If you haven't heard it, you should go check that out, featuring Mike Aldridge, kind of a LeBron legacy kind of debating back and forth. Jordan, LeBron, really cool episode that we were able to get into last time. You should check that out. And so this is our first or second, I guess, off-season NBA episode. There are things kicking up in the NBA, so decided to kick one up right now and let everybody know what's going on around the league and just some dates to look forward to moving up. And I've got some help returning with us for the second time on the show, Skyler Bauer. I think you're the first returning guest. Skyler, what's up?
Really? Well, Troy, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it once again, brother. It's always good to catch up with you and chop it up about some hoops and see what we can dig into.
That's right. So, yeah, definitely glad to have Skyler Bauer joining us for the second time. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were on last time. We were in the middle of the NBA Finals. I think the Heat had just, won that crazy game 4 or 5 or something. And you're back on now, a month later.
Yeah, that's exactly when you had me on, man. And, it's been about a month since then. Lakers are champions, and now we look forward to the very next season of what it's going to be.
That's right. And a crazy season that it's going to end up being. A crazy season that we just came out of, and a shortened season coming up. I believe 72-game season ahead. We'll get into all of that here in a moment. But, on the last episode with you, just a couple episodes back, actually, you talked about you getting a chance to coach some basketball here this season, kind of for your first time. You've had involvement in some different programs, especially with Austin P being able to be involved in that school's basketball program for a little bit. Now getting your first involvement in another area. So how's that going so far? How's the season looking? Just fill us in a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so I'm an assistant coach at a local middle school, Richview Middle School here in Clarksville, Tennessee. Go Cowboys! And
there you go.
Yeah, it's just been a really good experience. My very first time coaching ever, and it's only been about a couple months now into our season, but I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot in my basketball knowledge overall in just that short period of time. It's just been good to pour into kids' lives, because we have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade JV and varsity boys that we coach every day.
Okay.
And it's just been good just to kind of get them ready for the next level of play, which in most of their cases was going to be high school.
Yep. Well, that's definitely very cool. I'm glad to hear that it's going well so far. And what's the record looking like? Where are you guys at right now?
So we're currently 5-1. We are undefeated in our district, and we've only lost one game to a non-district opponent, which was just the other day, actually. Really good team in Dixon County, Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely a solid start to the year, and as you noted, just really cool to get experience like that. Really cool to, again, just the way you said it, to be able to pour into some kids' lives. And I know coaches that I've had, in the past, it's more than just a coach. You know what I mean? You get to kind of build a relationship with these student athletes, even at the young age that you're with right now. But you really get to form them into who they're going to be and help them and just be there alongside of them and be involved in basketball along the process. So kind of a win-win there. So keep up the good work with that. That's a lot of fun. And yeah, man. So real quick, I gotta ask you. So Lakers win the finals. You and I talked about it maybe a little bit a month ago, but just in a sentence or two, what's your thoughts on LA's chance of repeating?
Well, I'll give it to you in two simple letters.
Okay.
AD.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They got AD, meaning they can do it. I mean, he's he's gonna go back. He's a free agent, but he ain't going anywhere. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's he actually has about I'm actually looking at it right now on my screen. I think he has about $25 million left on his contract.
Okay. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. He said that I
Yeah.
think after as soon as they won. So yeah, if they keep him, it's gonna be big. I mean, obviously, I think they're the favorites to go ahead next season. I mean, there might be a few more new opponents that they might have to face with the Warriors coming back hopefully strong, the Nets potentially coming back strong, and of course, you got all the other teams that were good this year looking to get better on where they were. So it might be a tougher road for them to repeat, but I think they definitely got a chance. Just wanted to get your opinion on that real quick. So yeah, today's episode, what we get to talk about, what me and Skyler are going to get to go a little back and forth on, is just some things in this crazy, weird, unforeseen offseason that we find ourselves in the NBA. And so first thing first, some key dates. The NBA draft, we're recording here on November 12th, a Thursday. The NBA draft is November 18th, so coming up in just under a week.
Okay.
So big thing there. Free agency negotiations can begin just 2 days after that on the 20th at 6 p.m. I remember last year's free agency, it was like you knew where players were signing at that 6 p.m. deadline. That night, I remember last year, I knew JJ Redick wasn't coming back to Philly. It was like 6:01 and he was already with the Pelicans. I knew Tobias Harris was coming back and a couple other deals that we were able to get done that night, including the Jimmy Butler deal. So that night, I mean, things are going to cook up. Like next week, November 20th, free agency starting. Players can then sign their contracts a couple days after that. And then the NBA season opening night will begin December 22nd officially. So how are you feeling? I mean, these are dates that are really, really, really coming up. I know it feels like the NBA just finished up 2 weeks ago. It feels like it's been almost a month now. But how are you feeling about these things coming up?
I gotta tell you, I'm extremely excited because within the next couple years, there's gonna be a lot of immense talent coming into the league. That's gonna really just make a huge impact. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these guys coming in this draft and just like you said, in about a week, I want to see what they can do.
Yep, it's going to be interesting, especially with, I mean, you think about it, they're going to be put on their team and then they're going to be opening night like a month later, and that doesn't happen, right? Normally the draft's in June and opening night of the NBA is late October. This is a huge difference. They got to come into an NBA system, and I don't know how the NBA teams are going to work that out, or if it's going to, if this is the first time I'm thinking about it, but is it going to be a negative impact on these young athletes who have to come in and learn a playbook, learn a system, learn the culture of this team, and then go out there and perform in a month? Like, what's that going to look like?
Honestly, I want to say that I wouldn't take that as a negative. I would take that as more of like as a positive, because I mean, there's times in life where you have to grow up fast.
Yeah.
That happens in sports all the time too. You see it with trades. There are players in all sports that have to literally learn a whole new system, a whole new playbook within, heck, a lot less than a month. Probably a couple days sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I guess these young guys will be up to the challenge. We shall see. So I figured, again, since you're excited to see some of these young stars, young college athletes,
Yes,
young guys from overseas come into the league, we'll start with the NBA draft and then get into the mess that is a typical NBA offseason in this weird year. I like to call it, the rumor season, the NBA trade rumors, NBA free agent rumors. The rumor mill of the NBA is in full swing. It's really picked up in this last week, and I'm excited to get there. But we're going to start with the NBA draft. So let's just start with this. Who do you foresee? And I've got a mock draft I sent you, a mock draft written by Gary Parrish with CBS Sports, who has his top 10 We're going to go through the top 10 of who he's got. But who do you think right now is going to go number one? Because it's not a foregone conclusion that it's going to be one guy over another. What are you thinking with Minnesota with the first pick and Golden State with the second?
I mean, honestly, those are two very weird teams to be going number one and number two, solely because the top two prospects are, in fact, a point guard and a center in LaMelo Ball and James Wiseman from Memphis. Personally, I honestly think LaMelo Ball will go number one overall, just because he's a 6'7" point guard. Like that's rare enough in itself. And James Wiseman, I think, would be we'll talk about it obviously in a little bit, but I believe he'd be a fantastic fit in Golden State.
I think so too. I think so too. And it's interesting because I think this week I saw, obviously with the draft approaching, there's all kinds of mock drafts out there, and you're going to see one guy here, one guy there, one guy here. If you're looking at enough mock drafts, you can see about any combination you want. But I did see something, a rumor, of course. We're in the season of rumors. I saw a rumor that the Timberwolves are more interested with that first pick in Wiseman. Which I don't know what source that was, but that was a rumor. But then I saw something that NBA execs and front offices were expecting the Timberwolves to draft LaMelo Ball. And so it's like, okay, well, what do we do with that? So both guys seems like have as good a chance as you might think to be taken with the number one pick. I do agree with you. I think Wiseman would fit in well with the Warriors. I mean, who's been their best big over these 5-6 dominating years? They really haven't had a solid big.
JaVale McGee.
Yeah, right. I mean, they had Zaza, I guess.
Oh gosh.
I mean, they haven't. They've been able to do it with their. Draymond's played some 5, but he's not. He's not what they need there. I think Wiseman would be a very excellent pickup for them. There's a few other guys on this list from Gary Parrish. So Gary Parrish had LaMelo at 1. We know about LaMelo. We know about who he is, of course. And then Wiseman, Anthony Edwards from Georgia. I think you got the chance to see him play. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right.
So tell me about him. What do you know about him? I know a little bit.
So just a quick story. So last season when I was a manager for Austin Peay men's basketball, we had a chance to go play Georgia during our regular season. And we walked in there. We didn't come out of a W, mind you. We got beat up pretty bad. But unfortunately, I didn't really see much of Anthony Edwards. We did a pretty good job of kind of limiting what he was doing. I think he only had 10 or 12 points, maybe a couple more, maybe 15, 16 or something like that. He wasn't his typical self. But yeah, we played him pretty solid. Everyone else on that team had to beat us, which they inevitably did. Which it is what it is.
Yeah. So Anthony Edwards again? I've seen him play a couple times. I think I haven't gotten a tremendous read on him. You probably know a little bit more about him. What's his strength? If you could say. Obviously, he's a 6'5" guard. I think he's pretty athletic. Am I wrong? What's he bring to the table?
No, you're not wrong. He is a pretty athletic guard. He is big for a shooting guard position. Like you said, 6'5". He's got pretty good shooting touch. I honestly didn't even know that about him until these draft combines as of late. He can score the ball. He'll be a good fit anywhere he goes, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about guards. I feel like if you're an athlete and you can shoot it a little bit, they'll find a spot for you at the 1 or 2 guard. And even in today's day and age, he can play some 3 probably at 6'5". Guard up a little bit with his athleticism. So Gary Parrish again has him projected to go to Charlotte. And there's been some rumors with Charlotte. We'll get to that later. But then the next guy that he has is probably my favorite in this draft class, projected to go to Chicago. He'll definitely be, a top 5, 6, 7 pick. No lower than 7 is Obi Toppin.
Oh, yes, Dayton. Sir.
6'9". I would call him the most NBA ready of the draft class. He's got I think he played 2 years at Dayton. He was College Player of the Year last year. I don't know many people that, he's not a household name, I don't think, unless you know basketball,
Yeah.
just because he went to Dayton. But he's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. He's NBA ready. 6'9", a wing guy. I mean, he can go and get his own bucket. He's very athletic, can get to the rim. The dude can ball, and I think he's ready. I think he's going to make a tremendous impact. I would say, and I read some other things that say he might be the favorite to be the Rookie of the Year in this class, no matter who goes where.
Okay.
He's that good.
Oh, yeah.
He's that good.
I definitely don't disagree with you. I love Obi Toppin. He's a really great player, like you just said. I really enjoyed. I looked forward to seeing what kind of Dayton Flyer highlights were going to be on ESPN when he was playing.
Yes. What was that one dunk he had? Do you remember? It was like insane.
Which one?
He did like a. I know, right? There was one. I'm telling you, there was one in particular that like kind of made him more of a household name, and I think it was a breakaway windmill. Something, I don't know. There was one in particular. Yeah, he's a highlight reel. He kind of. I want to get your take on this. I was trying to think of who to compare him to in the NBA, on size and on the way that he kind of looks. He kind of reminds me of a Jason Tatum. In appearance and his size, I think he might be a little more bouncy than Jason Tatum. Might be a little bit different game, but both again are guys that can go and get a bucket. Yeah. And again, similar size. So I think he could be like a Jason Tatum in the league. I don't know. Might not have as good a stroke, but so slightly different game in that aspect. But we'll see. I think that dude is ready for the league. Anyone else on this list catch your eye a little bit, or maybe anyone not on this list that is getting ready to get drafted?
I would like to talk about Tyrese Halliburton. Apparently, he's they've calling him like the safest like pick in the whole draft, hands down.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him play, a little bit because, I follow the Big 12 in West Virginia, so we play him twice a year. He's good. He's good. He's a smooth player. I think that statement makes sense with him being safe. He's a good one. 6'5" guard from Iowa State. He can shoot. He can defend. He's a good one. He's projected to go. Parrish has him going here, sixth to Atlanta. Yeah. So obviously he'll be, a lottery pick nonetheless. He'll be somewhere in there. He might be a good fit. I think Parrish even said in the article he'll be a good fit alongside of Trae Young as a 2 guard. So that's a good one. Some other notables. We've got a couple guys from overseas that I can't even pronounce their names unless I was watching something, who are supposed to go in the lottery. There's always a few of those. And then, we've got guys that are looking to go late first round, mid first round, maybe Cole Anthony. I mean, coming out of high school, that dude was projected to be top 5, I think. And obviously a down year for Carolina. Maybe a couple injuries for him. Has him still projected to go mid first round. So we will see where he lands. I still think he's going to have a good career in the NBA. You got Trey Jones from Duke. You got Cassius Winston, Michigan State, those guards. And then a Desmond Bain, who's a great shooter. Another one from the Big 12.
TCU,
with
right?
TCU. Yep. He's good. I'm interested to see where he lands. I think he's projected more late first round. That's just a couple other guys that I've got my eye on, as we head closer to the draft coming up next week. Any other thing with the draft? You see any like crazy draft day trades going down? I mean, there's always something. I think Boston has 3 first round picks, and they said they're all on the table. They come out and said that. So I think their first one is 14. So we'll see if they can make a move.
Yeah, that'd be great to see.
So we'll see. With the NBA draft again coming up. I guess what would that be? Wednesday of next week, the 18th. So yeah, a couple guys from Villanova in there, looking to get picked, of course. So yeah, I think it will be LaMelo Ball, as you said. I think it will be LaMelo, and then I think it will be Wiseman at 2. and we'll see how these guys transition as they get to their teams and have a month to get going. So enough of that. Now we get to talk rumors.
Oh boy, here we go.
We get to gossip here on the Baseline FaceTime podcast. Joining us, Skyler Bauer again. If you're just tuning in, Skyler Bauer joining the show for the second time to talk NBA draft news, talk rumors, talk free agency, and talk some trade rumors. So the biggest rumors and the biggest kind of like turmoil right now in the NBA might just belong to the Houston Rockets. Would you agree with that?
No, I agree.
What's new? Yeah, you're right. So there's a lot of rumors going around. Let me tell you what's going on. I know you know some of them. So James Harden to Philly. We'll see if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
I would. We'll talk to that in a moment.
Oh yeah, please.
We'll talk about that in a moment. So James Harden possibly getting out. Westbrook apparently and allegedly requested a trade recently. It's also his birthday today. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. I think he's 32. He's old.
Whoa, okay.
I know, right? We're getting old. If Russell Westbrook's 32, dude, like, watch out.
Yeah.
Anyway, PJ Tucker apparently wants more money for what he does at the small ball lineup, holding down the fort down there in the paint.
I agree. Yeah.
Eric Gordon says he wants a bigger role. These are all, again, rumors. I don't know what's true, but this is about, like, their starting lineup in six-man right here. Daniel House wants a more offensive role. I think everybody does on that team if you're not named James Harden or Russell Westbrook. Austin Rivers wants more playing time. I don't know how he expects to get that behind those two guards, but anyway, lots of things going on in Houston.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple weeks. Who stays, who goes. What do you think? I mean, what stands out to you in any of that?
So, as we also, I think I've also seen they got a new GM as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And a new coach.
Ah, that's right. They hired, remind me who they hired again?
I forget the guy. A younger guy from, I forget what they got. It's his first head coaching job, I believe.
Yeah, I can't for the life of me. His name's blanking for me right now.
Yeah. Yep. But the Sixers got their GM. The Sixers got their guy, and so that's why some of the James Harden rumors are coming along. So do you think Russell Westbrook actually requested a trade?
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, but I would say I think it's just more of like an ultimatum kind of deal. Like he just wants a new team, new teammates around him.
Yeah, fix what we got going on, or I want out, kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah. So I mean, and there's of course rumors going on with where he could end up. I mean, about every team you see in a rumor. I saw like the Clippers. I saw the Knicks, of course, trade him to the Knicks, trade him to the Hornets. I saw a funny tweet that said, man, if he goes to the Hornets or Knicks, that's going to be the best 30 or like the most fun 32 win team ever. You know, it's just going to be. It said it's just going to be triple doubles and vibes, and I was like, yes, it absolutely will be, and he'll be loving it, and he'll be, you know, kind of like that first year without KD in Oklahoma City, where it was just him against the world, you know, and you know I mean, again at 32, he's only got a couple more years of, you know, being who he is, so you might as well go out and chase those triple doubles.
Yes,
although it would be cool to see him get a ring. You're a big Russell Westbrook guy, aren't you?
Well, I'm a huge Seattle SuperSonics OKC fan.
Okay. And so how do you feel about him now?
I mean, I love all the players that have come through there over the years. You know, I love Harden. I love KD. That took a little while to get back to. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Don't lie.
He's still my favorite player of all time. I'm not going to lie. Westbrook's good. I love Westbrook as well. But you know, at the end of the day, you realize, like, okay, they're not there for a reason.
Yeah.
So, hate to see it.
I'm curious to see if any of that ends up happening. If he gets a new landing spot. If James Harden ends up in Philly. So, the rumor there. Let me tell you a little bit of that. Of course, that's the one I've been tracking. So it happened when we got their GM, who's now our president, in Daryl Morey, who's not shy, let's just say that, of making trades, making moves, making deals. And there's rumors swirling around that, James Harden could go to Philly. And my initial response to that was, oh no. Because you, of all people, know how much I love Ben Simmons, how much I love Joel Embiid. And I'm like, there's no way we can get him without giving up one of those guys. And frankly, I don't know that I would want to. That's just who I am. And not necessarily that, like, and you might sit here, someone else might sit here and say, okay, you're an idiot, because if they get rid of Simmons and get James Harden, they're going to be a better team. And maybe they would be. I don't know. But, like, I'm just a loyal guy, and, like, Ben Simmons is my favorite player. Embiid's right up there with him, and it's just like, I don't want to see them leave, Because I think they can get it done, without him. And so, but then rumors kind of settled down a little bit more, and there's actually talks that they can get him without that. So, literally getting rid of the kitchen sink, the whole team, every draft pick we have, getting rid of Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Josh Richardson, probably Matisse Thybulle, as much as I don't want to see him go, maybe Shake Milton, and, like, sending it all, kind of like a Paul George kind of thing, the OKC and Clippers deal, and seeing if they can get him. So we'll see. I don't think it's, like, huge rumors right now, but again, we do have Daryl Morey, who was their GM, obviously has a relationship with Harden. And if these rumors are true that Harden might want out, although he did come out and say, "Oh, I'm ready for the season to start. I'm dialed in. I want to be in Houston," he said, I think. We'll see. I think it's just talk. But something to definitely keep an eye on. I think he's going to be a free agent in like 2 years. And then a lot of Philly fans are saying, okay, just hold on to what we have and go get Harden in 2 years. But at that point, he's going to be a little older. I mean, he'll be 33, 34, I think, by then. Somewhere in there. So we'll see. I don't know if they're going to pursue him right now or if they're going to wait it out, but something to keep your eye on for sure, and something to give Philly fans a lot of stress moving forward. So, other than the Rockets mess, we'll move on from that. There's plenty else going on. The Pelicans are listening to trades for Drew Holiday.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's too much of a surprise, and I think he's one of those guys that he'll make any team better. So I don't think there's, if they're really looking for something, they'll find somebody, but it just depends on what the other teams are, kind of willing to offer.
Right.
That dude is one of the best defenders in the NBA, hands down. Let me run this one by you. I saw this one today. The Lakers are interested in trading for DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier, as a matter of fact.
And I said they would have to give up Kuzma and Danny Green and maybe a little bit more. What do you think about that? Would you do that if you were the Lakers? Would you do that if you were the Spurs?
I mean, I would personally. I think that that's a huge win for the Lakers, and not so much of a win for the Spurs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think DeRozan has like a player option this year. As a free agent, and so we'll see. It could be like a sign and trade kind of deal, whatever those. I don't know exactly how those work out, but that could be one where DeRozan signs on on that opening day of free agency, and then they turn around and trade for those two guys. I do think that would make the Lakers a lot better. I'm with you. I think that DeMar DeRozan is very slept on. Obviously, he gets a lot of, gets made fun of a lot for his time with Toronto and not being able to get it done there. And then he gets traded, and then the Raptors win just to, put icing on the cake. But he's a great player. I mean, he really is. And I think, can you imagine the memes that are going to come out? He can't lose to LeBron if he's on his team, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, they've already started.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. So I think that would be a good pickup, and that would be, again, he's not as good as he once was, I guess, but he's definitely a better third piece than Kyle Kuzma for LA.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I truly.
And then, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like DeMar DeRozan's would definitely be a third scoring option for the Lakers by far, because just real quick, like we said before in the finals, LeBron and AD are getting it done, and Everyone else is kind of chipping in here and there, but nothing really consistent. And I think DeRozan can offer that consistency.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So we've got 2 or 3 more rumors swirling around the NBA, at least that I was able to catch on. So let me run this one by. Do you know who the Timberwolves are trying to target?
I don't know. Maybe. Did you write it down here? And yes, you did. Oh!
I did.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Okay.
I saw it, so I put it down. Devin Booker.
Nah.
Not gonna happen?
Nah. No.
Why not?
You'd have to trade the house for Devin Booker. I mean, dude. Okay, seriously though, the Suns, even though they went undefeated in the bubble, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yep, absolutely. And they didn't make the playoffs.
They didn't make the playoffs. But they showed that they can win. The Suns are on you know how like teams kind of suck for like 5 or 10 years, and then as they keep getting piece after piece, they finally start to get more up towards being a
Trust
playoff
me,
team.
I know the feeling. Trust the process.
Trust the process. Hashtag trust the process. You already know all about it.
But you're right. You're exactly right. I think that's a big reason as to why this trade will not happen. Because of what the Suns were able to do at the end of last year, given the circumstances. And I mean, they have a top 10 pick this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I mean, they might be able to add another piece and keep adding pieces and keep trusting their process, whatever they got going on. They dropped some dope City jerseys today, by the way,
yeah?
so shout out to the Suns for that. You should check those out. They're pretty fire. They got a good young core. They got Devin Booker, who's definitely their star. If they can add someone to that mix that can help him out there, they can obviously improve. So I do not see that, but they're trying to team up and make a kind of, sort of big 3 with Kat, Devin Booker, and D'Angelo Russell. I don't know that team would do that quite well anyway. But yeah. So I mean, they're like best friends. I think the 3 of them, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
I think they get along really well. Yeah. Then one more that I've got, unless you've heard anything else. Unless you're like in contact with Woj on the daily or something. Victor Oladipo allegedly wants out of Indiana. I saw a hilarious post today that said Oladipo like regularly in front of his teammates after games would ask teams like, "Hey, can I come play with you guys next year?" Like literally, like he did that with New York, Miami, and another team. He was like, "You guys, along the lines of like pick me up next year kind of thing."
Yeah.
So I don't think based on that he wants to stay in Indiana. Obviously injury concerns there, but the dude can score. I know you probably liked him in OKC.
Oh yeah.
For the 1 year he was there?
If that.
Yeah. But we'll see if he can go anywhere. I mean, again, the dude's good, and when he's healthy, he's explosive. He can absolutely fill it up. So that would be cool to see him get out of there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And one thing to do keep in mind is I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a long time ago, but the Pacers didn't handle his injuries properly.
Maybe like this year, because I know in this year, like, so the lockdown happens. Season's on hold. I think he was injured before that, but he came back. I don't know how much he played in the bubble and in the playoffs. I forget now, but he did play a little bit. I don't know if that was rushed. It's actually ringing a bell that with you saying that, because I know he was in a hurry to get back out there, and I think they were a little hesitant. And obviously, he got back out there when the season resumed. And there might have been things even before that in years past with him. But yeah, I think he put a little pressure on them to let him get out there and play.
Yeah, something along those lines.
That's for sure. So, interesting stuff. That's all the rumors I got. I don't know if you got anything else, but and then we'll run through the quick list of free agents. We'll see if we see anybody else. This is not like a huge free agent year like it was last year, and like it's going to be, I think, next year.
Mm-hmm.
With Giannis and some of those other guys. But last year was huge, and this year's not quite as much. But we've got AD. Looks like he's gonna stay. You got Brandon Ingram. Looks like he's gonna get a max contract.
I like that.
Fred VanVleet. I know he wants to get paid. So if he's willing to, if they're willing to pay him, he's gonna stay. But I think if they're like saving up for someone in the future, maybe you see him walk away. I don't know. I can't picture him somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think the
Drake
Raptors.
Jr.
Yeah, I think the Raptors got him on lock.
Yep. One guy that I could see heading out would be Danilo Gallinari. He's an unrestricted free agent, I believe. What do you think is going to happen there? That dude's good. Let me tell you.
Honestly, I think it's kind of gonna depend on how this offseason plays off in the next few weeks. That reminds me, it just came to my mind. I do believe the Suns, within the last few days, there was a rumor that they were actually trying to trade for Chris Paul.
There you go. That's another Chris. That's what we should have been on this list, and I'm glad you bring that up.
I forgot all
Chris
about
Paul. Chris Paul's a trade rumor from January to December every year. The dude is always in a rumor, and it's not just the Suns. There's rumors with probably the Lakers. There's rumors with the Knicks, maybe. I don't know. Every team. The Sixers have been rumored to him. If you go with a full, Chris Paul at the 1, Ben Simmons at the 4 look, they could potentially make that work. You're right, though.
Yeah.
If you went to the Suns, dude, it takes a lot of pressure off Devin Booker. He'll get a little more, spot-up threes instead of, having to do it on his own. That'd be a good one. They'd be a good team then, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Veteran leadership is very, very valuable in this day and age.
So are you saying the Thunder are just going to blow it up and just run it with SGA for a little bit and get rid of Gallinari, get rid of Chris Paul?
Honestly, man,
that's your squad. How are you feeling about these looks?
Sam Presti's a wild card. If you look back over the past 5 years, he's brought in so many super good players through trades, but then for some reason, whatever it may be, it just doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
And he ended up trading the lot.
Yep, that's true. That's true. We'll see what happens with them. They had a surprising year. They were not expected to be the seed that they were. What were they? 5? Somewhere in there? 5, 6?
I don't remember exactly. I think they
Who'd they play in the first round?
It was
the Jazz played the Nuggets, and the Thunder played the Rockets? No.
Maybe
I think they played the Rockets.
Yeah.
Because the Blazers played the Lakers, the Clippers played the Mavericks. Yeah, they played the Rockets.
Okay, yeah, and they lost and took it to 7 games.
Took it 7, yeah. They, just even being able to do that, they had a good year.
Yeah.
And a lot of that led by Chris Paul, and a lot of that, again, is why he's in trade rumors yet again. That dude is linked to every team. And it just points to who he is, because you want that veteran leader, and he's still able to perform even... he's been in the league forever. You know? So, who else is a free agent this year? You got Davis Bertans.
Oh, gosh.
The shooter from Washington. Oh, gosh, dude, that dude can fill it up.
Yeah,
and shooters like that always end up on, different teams. You ever notice that?
Oh, yeah.
You always bounce around guys that are, known for shooting.
Mm-hmm.
They just move and move. Kind of like a Marco Bellinelli. Obviously, Bertans is a different player. He's taller. He's more unique, but, they just move around. So don't be surprised if you see him on a different team next year. Montrezl Harrell is an unrestricted free agent. I would think he would stay, but you never know with the Clippers, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that that locker room's a little turbulent at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen.
And they just lost their coach. Ty Lue's the coach, right?
Yeah. They got a brand new coach. Right after their loss in the playoffs this this past season. You know, they didn't have a very good healthy chemistry from what I understood.
Yeah.
So either they iron it out.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah, either they ironed everything out, or he's going somewhere.
Yeah, and it's not even just him. I mean, at this point, I haven't read a ton of rumors on like Paul George and, like Lou Williams or any of those guys. Montrezl Harrell, of course, free agent, but don't be surprised if the Clippers shake it up.
Yeah,
because that's what they do every year.
Yeah.
So I think the only one that's safe there is Kawhi, and deservingly so.
Mm-hmm.
A few others. You got Jeremy Grant, no restricted free agent, another glue guy who can come off the bench and do what he needs to do. I think any team could utilize him. Joe Harris, a couple shooters. Bogdanovich from the Kings, another shooter that can stroke it a little bit, see if they end up anywhere. They're both unrestricted free agents, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Again, free agency's kicking up on November 22nd. November 20th, they can start beginning conversations. They can sign officially on the 22nd. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. Coming right up.
That's a lot. That's what happens when you don't record for a while. A lot to cover, a lot of rumors, a lot of free agents, a lot of draft news. Dude, anything else you got NBA related?
Nothing really. I think we pretty much hit on everything.
Yeah. Everything from not gonna happen to is gonna happen, right? There's probably there's probably some rumors out there that we missed, and they're gonna happen, and some things that are completely off the wall that might not. I do think, like you mentioned, Chris Paul's definitely a player to watch. He's linked to a lot of teams. We'll see if they can get it done and get him somewhere else other than OKC. Real quickly, though, shout out to you and your Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Yes, sir.
So we're both big college basketball fans, of course. The AP poll dropped this week, and Gonzaga was at the top of the preseason AP Top 25. Yeah. How you feel?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've said this every year for the past 6 or 7 years, but I truly have faith that this is the year Gonzaga takes the chip.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right though. You can literally say that every year because they are literally up there every year. And the thing that I remember when I saw that it said their first time in school history being ranked first in the preseason poll, and I was like, there's no way that's the first time. Because they're literally, for the last 6-7 years, they're always top 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they've been number 1 18 times, it seems like, in the preseason. So it's weird to think about that. But obviously, a tremendous job Mark Few has done there for so long. Having this team consistently, at a 1 seed, it seems like all the time. I don't know how many 1 seeds they've gotten in the last 10 years, but it's been a lot. So we'll see if they can get it done.
I sure hope so. We also super quick to noteworthy is we got our first 5-star recruit in program history in Jalen Suggs coming in this season.
Okay, their first one. Wow.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Surprising.
Yeah, I thought we've always been getting at least one 5-star recruit, or at least a couple 4-stars or something each year.
That is surprising. I mean, they definitely get the 4s. I mean, those dudes, every single year they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, hey, if West Virginia doesn't get it done, I hope Gonzaga gets it done. I've always liked Gonzaga. So West Virginia is 15th this year in the preseason poll. This, and Bob Huggins has said it himself, this is the most depth he's had on a team since he's been back at his alma mater in West Virginia.
Really?
Yeah. He even said it might be the most talent we've had since the Final Four team we had 10 years ago, which is a bold statement because we've had some good teams in the past 3-4 years with Javon Carter and Daxter Miles and those guys. We'll see. We're definitely deeper than those teams were. And, I think that's definitely to our advantage. I mean, Huggins plays 10, 11 guys every night. And those teams aren't even as deep, and he still does it. He'll just play guys because someone's not playing hard. How he is. But realistically, we've got 11, 12 guys that you might see every single night, it seems like. So I'm excited. College basketball is only like less than 2 weeks away, bro. Like, we're getting into this thing. So it's gonna be fun. So excited for college basketball to get going here coming up over Thanksgiving, and we will definitely have you back on if you'll join us.
Say the word,
to talk
man.
some more hoops. Maybe we can get like a NBA season preview once kind of all these rumors are settled and all said and done, and we're ready to play ball. Maybe mid-December we can get a little season preview coming. See how Gonzaga's doing in the college ranks and West Virginia's doing, and we'll catch up then. Sound good?
You ain't gotta tell me twice, Troy. I'm down. Just let me know, brother.
All right, man. Well, that's all we've got today. Again, we'll be back definitely before the NBA season starts. Maybe one or two more times before the season starts on this show, the Baseline FaceTime podcast. And I can't believe we're like a month away from the season. That's a really cool feeling considering the season just ended in this unique year. So everybody stay safe out there. Enjoy your Thanksgiving coming up if you're listening to this before the holiday. And we will see you next time on the Baseline FaceTime podcast. Peace. That's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Baseline FaceTime podcast. We'll see you next time.